everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Lifted. This is a guest episode, and today we welcome to the pod Sheryl Harris, who works in IT and is also a qualified body transformation online coach. As a fellow coach, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today, Sheryl.
Thank
if you could
you.
just start off by introducing yourself and telling us more about what you do and the kind of service that you offer to your clients, please, Sheryl.
Yeah. So my name's Sheryl Harris. I'm 30 years old. I work as an online coach. My qualification is a sports coaching and performance science bachelor's of honours. So I've been coaching informally for quite a few years. I've started taking people on properly now, because prior to that I really was focusing on my bodybuilding journey. And just focus on training myself. But I've started to take a couple of people on, and I've been enjoying it, and everybody's been enjoying it so far.
Good. Brilliant. That's really good. So talk us through how you came about doing all this. Really, what would you say got you into fitness in the first place? How did your journey evolve from where you were in the beginning? What was your life like before you found fitness? And, how did that go? How did you get into the whole flow of being in the fitness industry, really?
Yeah, so I probably first got into the gym, I think I was about 19 years old. I just joined Fleetwood YMCA and just did the typical gym goer thing. Let's go and do a couple of classes. Let's go on the cardio equipment, and just not really understanding what I was doing.
Not with any plan or anything. You just went in.
No, just winging it, just getting into fitness really. Because I wasn't really bothered before that. Apart from when I was in primary school, I did enjoy sports. I used to play on the girls' football team, and I used to play netball and different sports, and also swimming. But I sort of fell out of that as a teenager. I wasn't really bothered. But then at about 19, after I'd left school and I started to notice my body's changing now, I need to probably stop eating. Eating rubbish and start moving a bit more.
Start putting more activity in and stop
putting more
lazy.
activity in. Once you're able to drive, you're not walking as much and stuff like that. So I just joined the gym and just did the typical thing. And then in 2015, I got my first bodybuilding coach. And I just wanted to grow muscle and started to get into weightlifting and stuff like that, just because I'd seen like bodybuilders. And back then it was like before Instagram and everything, it was on Twitter. I'd seen bodybuilders and I was like, wow, they look amazing. I've seen Ashley Kaltwasser. So she'd won Miss Bikini Olympia 3 times. I'd saw her and I thought, oh, I so want to look like that. But obviously I was training completely different. I was doing classes, not really touching weights apart from kettlebell class. So I thought I need some guidance with this. And the personal trainers in the local area, they probably wasn't even training women for weights that much back then either. No. There wasn't many women's in the weight area that like there is now. I'm glad it's become more popular now.
I remember when I used to go to YMCA, I was like the only girl in like the weight section, and like I looked really weird because you're there on your own and all the girls are going for classes, and everybody used to say to me like, why don't you join the class? I'm like, no, it's not really my thing. But I know what you mean.
So it was like, I didn't know anybody who did weights, so sort of found my online coach on Twitter, joined her, and then after 2 years of being with her, I did my first bodybuilding show in 2017. And I really enjoyed that, but I still thought after that, I don't really know if this is for me anymore. So I sort of just carried on training and stuff like that. And I was working in an office job that I thought I might have been made redundant from. So there was coming up rumours of people being made redundant. So I thought, I've got to go and I've got to do something, because I've sort of went to college and did beauty therapy and just gone straight into an office job and didn't really take that up. So I thought, I need to do something in case I get made redundant. So that's how I went in to do my sports coaching and performance science degree.
Oh, nice.
because I thought I was going to get very redundant. So I went and did that because obviously I started to have bodybuilding as my passion.
Yeah.
And then I graduated from that in 2019. But I did actually keep my other job in the end. I didn't get made redundant. So
okay, good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But in a weird way, it might have forced me into the online coaching sooner. But because obviously I had my comfortable office job, I just was focusing on bodybuilding myself at that time in my spare time. Yeah, so I did my first show 2017, and I thought I might not do it again. I'm not sure if it's just a one-off thing. But then in 2019, after I finished my degree, I decided to go and do my second show.
Yeah.
And then I'd gone from my first ever show not placing at all to winning my second show, getting first place in bikini short and second place in fitness model short. So I was like, didn't expect that. I just wanted to look better, and I wanted to try and place the next time, but just the feeling of winning was amazing. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it then, and I thought, right, I'm going to stick at this a bit longer.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's fantastic. But I'd just like to take you back onto the bodybuilding side of things a bit more, because the podcast really is to help people who are venturing into bodybuilding, like first timers, those who are looking for information really about what to expect when they're going into the bodybuilding side of things. So I'd just like us to talk about or cover a bit more on your bodybuilding journey. Because I've touched a bit on the previous episodes. I've touched a bit about mine, and I'm going to, as we go along on other episodes, I'm going to cover a bit more on you know, the nitty-gritty side of everything, just so that I try and keep the episodes a bit shorter so that people don't fall asleep, basically. So I'm kind of just putting them in small bits, but packing them with information as much as I can on each episode, so that you get like a full-on explanation of one particular thing of the bodybuilding side, and then on the next episode I kind of expound on it. So on this occasion, because I've got you on, and obviously your experience will be different to mine, you are a different class to me. So I'm toned figure, and you're a bikini girl. So just talk us through what sorts of emotions went through your head when you started off the bodybuilding side. What sort of journey did you take? How did it go from you deciding to actually go into bodybuilding, and then when you found a coach and the plan was laid out for you to do your training and the nutrition side, was that a shock to your system? How did that feel when you first ventured into it? For you personal, like the real personal experience for you, how was that like?
Right, so when I first found my first bodybuilding coach, I didn't actually know if I would do a show. Just like most people, like if they join an online coach, they probably just want to change the body. I really just wanted to look like Ashley Colt. Was it? I still don't look like her. But
you know that you never say
trying.
never. That, you know, you keep working, you'll finally get there. But I think you look banging anyway. But yeah,
thank you. So the diet side of things, to be honest, the diet for building muscle, when you have to be in a calorie surplus, I found easy because I already ate quite a healthy, nutritious diet. So I found that quite easy. The hard part, like you've probably explained on your episodes, was when I decided to actually do the competition and diet for the show. So it was 14 weeks, my first bodybuilding prep. And so for those 14 weeks, I had to just eat the same foods every day with my first coach. So that was how I did my first show. I've done it different going forward, but
so it was a set plan. It was a set plan with
you. It's a set meal plan with basically porridge, protein powder, chicken, sweet potato, broccoli, etc., salmon, and that was the same thing for the whole 14 weeks. So I found that really difficult. I didn't find it difficult eating healthy, the building up side, because that was more flexible. But my first coach made me eat the same things every day for 14 weeks. So I found that quite difficult, losing the flexibility.
Yeah.
And as dieting for a show is not just dieting for a holiday, it's obviously have to go to an extreme level of leanness that your body's used to being in. So it is difficult with the fatigue and keeping up with your cardio and your training and having to tick all your boxes and everything to do. I did find it quite difficult, and a lot more difficult than I think people expect when they see it on Instagram. All the bronze tans and the smiles and the sparkles.
Yeah, it's not all that. It's not all, you know, behind the scenes.
It is
A lot
difficult.
of hard work goes on, and it's difficult. Yeah.
I did find the way my first prep was difficult. So going forwards, following that, I did do macro tracking. And tracked my own foods after having my calories and macros given to me by a coach. So then I obviously made sure I ate a healthy, nutritious diet still. But I was able to like pick, would I like chicken or turkey or beef today?
And
so I felt a bit more freedom and flexibility, and it was a bit more easier for me doing it that way. But I did find that difficult. Another thing that I found difficult on my first show was, I think when you train really hard for something and you don't get the outcome that you'd like. So my first show I didn't place, but I think when you know how hard you're training and how hard you're putting yourself through something, it's easy to think that I'm working the hardest out of everybody in the world.
Absolutely, I get that.
And then you turn up, and at the end of the day, it is a competition, and somebody's got to not win.
Exactly.
So when I didn't become top 3 in my first show, I found that quite difficult dealing with the failure. For the first time, I've obviously been fine going forwards, but it's more like when you work hard for something, a lot of people say, if you work hard, you will get the results you want. So you'll look the best you've ever looked, but at the end of the day, someone's got to lose, and you could look the best person in somebody else's eyes, but at the end of the day, it's up to the judges, and it's not up to your mum. Your mum might think you're the best person.
I know. And this is the thing, because I went through that as well. Like you push so hard, and you're there ticking all the boxes every day. I mean, you don't miss a bit at all. You bang on everything. You do everything as you should. And for me, obviously, with it being a first time, I didn't go in with any expectations or anything. But still, you know, you're there to win, and you're there to because you work so hard, as you say, and you put so much effort into it, and you're thinking you know, they surely, you know, and when you look at yourself, obviously you're very self-critical, and you for a first timer, you probably won't know where to place yourself when it comes to what to expect going into a show. But equally so, you want to go in with a winner's mentality, because the amount of effort you're putting in, you want to be rewarded for. And even if you don't win, you want to at least place. So you want to be at least in the top 3. For me, anyway, that's what really ideally I wanted. I didn't expect to win, but I was thinking if I come away with the top 3, I'll be happy. And for me, on that first go, I did. But then when I didn't, it knocked me back a bit, because you're thinking right, so what needs to be done? What things do I need to put in place in order for me to? But then you think I'm actually doing everything. Is there actually any more I can do? Do you know what I mean? It's
at the end of the day, it's someone's opinion at the end of the day. It's not like you're running a race. You can't run faster than the person next to you. You can't. Everybody on that stage, unless there might be someone who's doing it for just a bucket list thing, everybody on the stage most likely have worked the hardest they could have worked. But it's a competition at the end of the day, and you're only going to learn from it. And it's just keeping that, obviously train to win, but think at the end of the day, if I don't, just move on and go on to the next one.
Good advice, that, because again, if you let it linger in your head, it's going to affect your next show, and it's always going. I mean, it will always be at the back of your head, thinking well, I've worked hard again. Am I not going to place? But I think the most important thing, as you point out, is just to put that to one side, go into the next show hoping or thinking like you need to be better than you were in the last show. And this is the thing also I want you to talk to us about. What are your thoughts about people competing year on year? Is it something that you would advocate for? What are your thoughts on that? Because personally, I feel like sometimes people go in too soon from their previous show and they really haven't made any improvements, because as you know, you will get feedback from the judges when you walk out of stage. You will get that feedback, and the feedback is there to tell you like what areas you need to work on, so that you back on the next time when you stand there, you've actually ticked the boxes that they asked you to. So what is your opinion when it comes to those who, and I don't know whether it's something that you do personally, go onto stage year on year, or not take like a longish off season, say for example?
So with my first show, I didn't know if I was going to do it again. And then I did do it again, and I'd won my show and then come second in another class that I'd just entered as well. So I still had about 6 months off season then, but I didn't have a whole year. And I should have probably had a whole year looking back now. But the thing was, I think I've won. So there's not too much in my feedback that I need to improve, that I can't improve in 6 months. So I then decided to prep again. But then it was the lockdown. So I prepped my third show. Well, it wasn't my third show because I did the British finals in 2019. So it was my third season, but my fourth show in lockdown. So that was horrendous.
That was fun.
In my back garden, and I also moved house as well. So I did train in my back garden, then moved house and trained in my back room. But so I didn't take an off season, and then I didn't place again. So I probably should have took an off season. Then after that, I wasn't sure if I was going to compete again, but I did then take 2 years away from the stage. But I've made more improvements for my muscle, taking off more time. But I think the thing is with my last prep is that I'd gained too much weight in the off season, so it was hard to pull down to diet down. But I do think that the longer off seasons are better to improve your muscle mass and make those necessary improvements. And also to get your body back in a healthy place. I mean, it's person dependent. Some people obviously have health issues if they have been on contest prep for a long time. So you've got to obviously look after your health and put your health first before bodybuilding, and make sure you're in a good spot really before you choose to do it again. Because like you say, there's no point competing every year and then looking the exact same.
But again, that's just an opinion of mine. I mean, some athletes won't agree with it, and it's the attraction of the stage lights and all the glamour and all the the fanciness that comes with it. And I get that, it is very attractive, especially when you start watching other athletes competing. You get like that feeling like, oh my god, I want to be on stage. So I get that, but it's really about what you want to achieve out of being on stage. At the end of the day, it's about, do you want to be competitive, or do you just want to go and enjoy the day? In which case, if you want to just go and enjoy the day and you're not really bothered about placings or how well you do, then absolutely go for it. But it's important for you to take judges' feedback, especially if you've got things that they've said you need to improve on. And if in your case, obviously it makes sense that you didn't, after you won, there wasn't really much to improve, so you could easily jump back on.
I still think that even if you have won and then you compete the next year, you've got to think there's other people that have had long off seasons that didn't compete the previous year. And people, you feel like you're chasing your tail all the time to improve, because the categories, there's different categories like figure and bikini, but each year everybody's just getting better and better, and
it's changing all the time.
It is better to really take as long time as you can to make those improvements.
Yeah, it's important. And as you say, also, it's important for your body to recover after show. So again,
Definitely.
that longer period of time away from the stage just gives your body that chance to get back to its normal state, because it actually takes much longer than people think to regain that healthy balance. Because if you think
Definitely.
about how long you can be on the diet for, or you can be in prep for, the body also needs time to readjust. And that brings us on to the next point. I want us to talk about post-show.
Yeah.
So talk us through your post-show and how you coped with everything from the hunger side of things to eating to moods, and how you basically coped and what support you got in terms of the coach you had at the time, or through your shows, post shows. How did that come about, and how did you cope with it all?
Right. So after my first show, I thought, not sure I want to do this again. So I did the naughty thing that you should not do. Don't
Not
do
do.
this. I sacked my coach. Well,
Oh
I didn't
God,
sack
yeah,
her. I just
right.
said, sorry, I don't
Because you
think I
thought you
want
were doing
to
it
do this at the
anymore.
moment. I want a bit. I want to take some time to just do my own thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't really know anybody who'd competed. I knew a couple of people on my bodybuilding team at the time, but I didn't really understand post show. Social media wasn't as big as it is now. I didn't really understand what would happen, and I felt like a crazy person.
Yes.
After
Yeah.
I did my first show,
Yeah.
I was absolutely starving to the point that I felt like I couldn't fill myself up. So I would eat chocolate, sweets, and
Oh God.
uh,
Yeah.
that grenade spread had just come out for the first time in 2017, and it's
Right.
like
Okay.
white chocolate and little cookie bits like in it, and I
Yeah.
like nearly ate a whole tub.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
And
yeah.
it's horrible. You feel like you can't fill yourself up, and you almost feel like you've got a binge eating disorder,
Yeah.
which I didn't have. It's your body. You've literally just put your body through such an amount of stress. Your
Mm.
body is basically thinking, oh my god, when is she gonna let me eat again? So your body is just leptin and ghrelin, which is your hunger hormones, are totally go crazy and
Yeah.
out of whack. So they just are making you
Yeah.
feel hungry when you're actually not hungry, because your body's trying to survive, and it's thinking, right,
Mm.
I'm gonna make her feel hungry because I don't know when she's gonna allow me to eat this much again,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of what you've just put it through. And if this happens to you, don't panic. Your body will eventually settle down.
Mm.
Um, and you've just got to try and eat mindfully, even though you feel hungry. You obviously don't try and diet again. Just eat what you can. Try and eat healthily, but listen to your body at the same time. But
Yeah.
know that it will pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you went through the similar thing, didn't you, Carol?
Yeah, I did, and it was awful. Like at one point, I just thought, like, what have I done to myself? Like, I've
Yeah.
literally broken my body. Like, why did I even go into this? And you get to that point where you start questioning whether it was actually worth you feeling like this, because coming off stage that first time, it's like, because I'm quite a strong-minded person, I didn't give myself time to think forward to how I was going to cope with it. Yes, I had read up on it. Yes, I had listened to podcasts on it, and I had done a bit of research on how to cope with post-show hunger and how to deal with it. And I have a brilliant coach, and
Yeah.
she's always there. Like, I only need to message her, and she's straight back at me. But with this, in this instant, I didn't feel like I needed that, because I felt like I'm strong enough mentally to, like,
Yeah.
just, because when I'm focused, and usually I don't really stray. Uh, but my body was saying something different. Like, I couldn't control, literally, I couldn't control how I was feeling. And I remember we went out for breakfast, my family and I ordered like the extra large breakfast. So you've got like 3, 4 sausages, or 3 or 4 of everything, basically.
Yeah.
So massive plate. And then I had like a massive stack of pancakes with maple syrup, like 2 helpings of those. And you're eating and you're not feeling where the food is going. You
Not
don't feel like,
full.
you don't feel full. It's like that switch has gone off, and your body just cannot know when to say, right, you've had enough now, you need to stop, until you actually look at your belly. And I did a post on Instagram actually on it, just comparing the day of my show to the day after my show, and the state my belly was in, because it was really bad. It was uncomfortable. The blood wasn't great. And I just remember saying to myself, I don't really want to ever feel like this again. And so that's when I messaged my coach and said, like, I do really need the plan to come through, because I need to get back into it. I feel a bit lost with it. And she was that good. She immediately sent a plan through, and I got cracking with that. And I think it was for me more a mental thing. And once I made that switch again, it's like when you switch your mind off to thinking like, oh, now I can eat, and your body thinks like, right, come on, we need to keep going, keep bringing it in. And as you say, it doesn't know when you're going to deny it the food again. So it's almost like you have got no control over it. You just find yourself in your face. And it's really important for people who are going into bodybuilding or are looking to start this journey or are struggling post-show to remember that you really need to ask for help when you get to a point where you feel like it's actually running away with you. Don't be like me and think like, oh, I'll cope with it, I'll be fine. You need to put things into place before your show, just so you know that after show, yes, you are allowed to celebrate and to eat some food because your body needs it, especially after show day, because you've gone through a long day with almost not, next to nothing really, to help maintain that condition for you to be judged on when you get on stage. So yes, it is okay for you to eat, and maybe on that first day after you come straight off stage, you're allowed to eat because your body really needs it. But then after that, you want to start thinking about putting things in place that will help you still be structured, still eat, not deny it, because you want to get out of that stage lean condition, and get your hormones going again and get your body back to a healthy balance. So yeah, that's really, really nice to hear your side as well. And sometimes you think like you're going crazy and it's just you, but if you hear other people talking about it in the same way, at least we know, it's not like it's not just a you thing, is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really, really good. So that's good to know. I'd like to go back to we've talked about the post show, we've talked about your bodybuilding, we've talked about how you got into everything, and we now want to go back into your coaching business, and talk about a bit more about that really. So at what point did you decide to venture into the coaching business? I know you've mentioned it before, but just talk us through it again in a bit more detail, please, Sheryl.
So after I did my sports coaching degree, I immediately then went on to a prep after I'd graduated. So I didn't really start it because I went straight into a prep. I did start coaching some of my friends for free, not really charging for anything like that. And then after I'd obviously won that show, I then thought, right, I just need to focus on my bodybuilding journey and sort of put it to one side. And then last year, each year really, January comes around and I get people messaging me going, oh, will you just coach me? Will you just coach me?
New year, new me. Everyone comes.
Me. Oh, I wish you'd coach me. And then I'd send them like different coaches, like your and Lucy's business, different people's, and who I know. And they'd be like, oh, but I want you to, like, because there's someone who's familiar with it. Oh, but I want you to do it. So I did actually take on a couple of people in January, and then I thought I kept getting a couple more. So I just thought I'd only just take on a couple because I do work full time as an IT service desk analyst. So I only take on a couple of clients. I don't have like a giant business or anything like that. But yeah, so I've been enjoying it really. For me, it's a passion. So I just like helping people. Put them in the right direction. It is all online based, so it's like your training plans and either your meal plans or macros and all the messaging's online and the check-ins. But yeah, I do enjoy it and I've had some good results from it. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Good. Brilliant. What challenges do you face when dealing with online clients? What sorts of things, like in terms of the coaching aspect, how do you manage client expectations when it comes to the length of time it takes to actually achieve good results and for them to be able to achieve like a good transformation? How do you explain things like food intake, for example, and why we don't start on very low calories when we're setting up the meal plans?
Yeah, so with the online coaching, so we do have some challenges. So sometimes I'll get clients, and I'm sure you will yourself, Carol, that expect, obviously, when you have your meal plan and your training program, they want results really quickly.
Yes.
And I know it's obviously enthusiasm, and it helps the motivation going to have results really quickly. But in order to do it in a healthy and sustainable way, we have to obviously start on high calories. If you, obviously, this is talking about a diet to lose weight. So you'd have to start on high calories and have them come down really slowly. We wouldn't then put you on a crash diet and expect you to just lose weight really quickly, and then that would be it. Because if you start someone on a really low calorie diet, then where have you got to go? You need, obviously,
exactly.
Once you come to a plateau and you stop losing weight, you need somewhere to take it from.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you get like some coaches who like flog their clients with like really high cardio.
Yeah.
But for me, the coaching aspect of it and how we do it is to encourage or to give the client knowledge on why they are doing things a certain way. Now, when it comes to the training side of things, it's very important for people to understand when you're coming into a transformation journey, or you wanting to change your physique, that a lot of it is going to be based on your nutrition and how your nutrition supports your training. So if you're there on low calories and you're not having enough fuel in there to fuel your workouts, you're not going to be performing your best, are you? And then you get things like somebody being very tired, you know, when they go into the gym where they're supposed to actually perform, because that's where you actually create the body that they want. If they're not pushing as hard as they should because they're not being fueled properly, then we're not getting the results that we're wanting. And then it's all of a sudden it's you know, it's the coach's fault because you're not producing results. But really it's not. When people come into a program with an expectation of losing weight like in 6 weeks, yes, you can, anybody can lose weight in 6 weeks. You only need to drop your calories. You don't even need to train. Do you know what I mean? But if you're wanting to achieve like a really good physique and to attain what most people aspire to, you know, like you walk around the gym and everyone's like, oh, I want your shoulders, oh, I want your legs.
But, you want to change your body composition, you've got to follow a structured diet and training program. It's not just a crash diet. If you're going to be on 1,000 calories and 2 hours cardio, you're not going to build Carol's shoulders.
You're not going to build Carol's shoulders. I love that. Yeah. But people don't, it's about just educating everyone and just making them aware that this is actually what it takes. And the other thing that comes into play massively that people don't actually realize is the consistency of it.
Yeah.
You get people who come into the program and they want the plans changed every 2 weeks. I mean, like, no, it doesn't, you're not doing yourself any favors, because you have to go through a plan for a certain time, amount of time for you to be able to progress. So if we are changing it up every 2-3 weeks, you're not getting to that point where you're actually applying the progressive overload factor, and you're not getting to a point where you're actually seeing progress in your training because you're constantly changing. Now, I get that for some people they get bored, but it's the boring stuff that works, unfortunately. And that is the one thing that I really want to put out there, so people actually know the importance of sticking to something consistently for a period of time. Yes, things can be changed, but not as often that clients sometimes do want or expect change.
And I think it's with the food as well. Like, so if you've got a client and they're losing weight each week on a high amount of calories, we don't need to drop the calories each week. If they're losing weight, the plan is working.
Yeah.
And it's also when people also want quick fixes, when a online coach gives a meal plan or a macro target, that's basically done as an estimate of your basal metabolic rate based on your height, your weight, your gender, your activity level, But at the end of the day, even though it takes all of that into consideration, it's still an estimate.
It is,
It's
yeah.
the estimate doesn't know your diet history. It doesn't know any medical issues you might have. It doesn't know how many steps you do in a day and stuff like that. So it's really an estimate. So it
It
can
is.
take a couple of weeks to get the actual right amount of calories you need to either lose weight or gain weight, whatever
Yeah.
your goal is. If you want to build muscle, if you want to be in a calorie surplus,
Yeah. Yeah.
it can take a couple of weeks to get the ball rolling. Where
Yeah.
right, we know where we're maintaining now, we know where we're losing weight, we know where we'll gain weight,
Yeah.
and that can take a couple of weeks. So if people want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, it's
like no, no. And again, when it comes to the body composition, you don't want to. The reason why we want to have like small drops in weight is so that your body gets chance to adapt to the loss of fat, if you will, and you actually attain that tightness and tone.
definitely, if you've lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks, you've probably lost water.
Yeah.
You've probably lost muscle if you're losing that much weight.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a strong and toned body, even if you don't want to compete, if you want to look like fit, toned, or if you even just want to look like somebody who's a fitness model or something like that, it's not about losing weight really quickly. You need to maintain your muscle mass as well, and doing that slowly will help you maintain that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the aim of the game is to maintain muscle, build and maintain muscle, because that's your superpower when it comes to toning and
and to look getting that fit look that people want. It's the muscle underneath that gives you that toned body.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I agree with that. So we've covered quite a lot, Sheryl, and I'm really glad that you've been able to share your side of things. I'd just like to ask you one other thing. With you having your day job as well as the coaching business, how do you manage to maintain a work, family, and social life balance, as well as when you're on prep? How do you manage to do all this and still be a normal, like a sane person? Do you manage at all?
I don't know. I've lost my family and friends that they'll probably say no.
Oh dear.
No. So with the online coaching, so I just basically do that on a weekend. My day job is just weekdays. But I work during the week. So I'll do the online coaching on a weekend. But when I'm on prep to juggle everything, I wasn't an online coach on prep last time, so I've not actually done a prep as an online coach. But with work and the family balance, it can be difficult when you're on prep, keeping up with cleaning and everything like that when you're really tired and fatigued, and you're having to train, you're having to do a million steps, you're having to fit your cardio in, you're having to meal prep and cook. And
it's like
where
do I get this energy? It's like how do I do it?
After you've done everything that you need to do for your work, your competition, you've then got to clean your house and you've got to be present for your family and friends and partners. It can be difficult, and I think it's hard for family and friends and partners to understand sometimes how difficult it actually is to go through a contest prep and the strain that it has on your body and how it makes you feel. But I think if you're thinking about going through a contest prep for the first time, you've got to really just think about being present and trying not to be a rubbish person and not doing your best and obviously you've got to do your prep and you've got to get your training and everything in, but it's once that's all done, try and be present with your family, your friends and your partner, and still be a good person and be there for them, not just suddenly go tunnel vision and
or if you're going to be like that, at least you need to communicate. And I mean, it's really hard when you're, especially when you're in the back end of prep, when everything is just excessively
it does get
hard.
difficult. You've just got to communicate that, haven't you, to your family and friends, and let them know. Let them know how you're feeling and what you're going through, and be open with them. Don't just shut them out. And
yeah, you need to because at the end of the day you also need their support through, because you can't do prep on your own. Well, some people
no,
do, but I didn't have the luxury of doing it on my own, and I needed that support, especially with kids involved. You will need somebody there to like help cover for days that you can't actually function, because let's face it, you get to that point where you actually can't function. That is if you're doing it right. Some people will be like, I don't know what you're on about. I'm fine during prep and I go through it fine, but
I think
clearly,
I think some people. I think there is actually some people who find it easy. I
yeah,
think some people are lucky and do find it easy.
yeah,
Um, I've got a friend that I know through competing, and she said that she does not suffer that much. And I know she's an open and honest person, and she
yeah.
she looks lean enough on stage. She's won shows, so it's nothing to do with not
Wow.
looking amazing. I feel like some people just, it's
Yeah,
basically,
that
you
must be
might
great.
you might have a prep next time, Carol, and you might be like, wow, this is
Like,
crazy. I
this is all
feel
right. I don't
fine.
think so. Oh my
I
God, that
feel
would be
fine.
awesome.
You don't know. I think it's sometimes it's just your body.
Yeah.
If your body, I always end up dying at the end at some point. I
Well,
might feel
yes.
fine in the beginning.
Fair. The first one, when I did the qualifiers, because I didn't know what to expect, I was just keen on just getting it done. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of how rubbish I felt, I was completely disregarding the fact that I was feeling rubbish, because I'm that stubborn, and I was just thinking, like, I'm not going to accept I'm actually feeling rubbish. So every time like coach messaged me to say, how are you feeling today? I'll be like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm still here. I'm all right. But really, I was dying, but I wasn't going to like admit that I was dying because because I didn't want to accept that it's actually that hard.
Yeah.
Thinking about actually going into it, I was one of those who was thinking like, well, everyone says it's hard, but I want to be the judge of that. So let's see how hard it actually gets. And
Yeah.
it was hard. It was bloody hard. But
Yeah.
I think with the second one, when I got into the finals, the second half of my competitive season, because I knew what was coming, I kind of braced myself for it. But then again, we went really hard on that one. So it was even harder than the qualifiers, because we wanted to go in with better condition.
Yeah.
Feedback was that we needed a bit more conditioning. And we did manage to do that, but it was much harder. It was hard. Like, you saw me on the last one, didn't you?
I saw Carol queuing up for a tan, and I was like, "Are you okay?" No.
It's like,
You just
yeah,
look
I
really
just want
tired,
to go home. Yeah, I was absolutely shattered. It was hard.
but you look
And to
so
think
amazing, and it paid off. The British
it did pay
champion,
off. It did,
well,
British champion. There you go.
not a
So it was all
PCA,
worth it in the end. It was all,
British figure champion,
yeah. That's always going to be there now. So
and no one can ever take that away from you.
yeah, not at all. And like it's quite exciting to see where it will take me next, because I was only ever going to do two shows.
Yeah, that's what
And
everybody
then
says. I'm just gonna try
yeah,
it, tick it off the bucket list. Yeah,
yeah.
right.
No, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna get stuck in. So yeah, it's good. It's good though. But it's for me, it's more of like the competitive side of it. And I didn't even know I was competitive until I got into bodybuilding, because you're thinking like, oh, I see her and she's looking really good. I need to go in as lean as her next time, or I need to improve this and improve that. And all of a sudden, it brings out that competitive side of you that you even never knew existed. Well, some people know that they're competitive, but I didn't know. Like I'm one to just go with the flow. I don't like really putting myself out there. So for me, it absolutely changed everything. So for you, Sheryl, what has bodybuilding given you, and what has it done for you in terms of how it's affected the rest of your life, how it's transformed the rest of what you do, how has it fitted into your life, what has it done for you?
So it's completely changed my life, really. So I'm glad that I've done it, because I think now my mindset is, I've got such a strong mindset. I know that once you do those preps and you feel the way me and Carol are explaining, and you come through the other side of it, and even if you don't win, even if you just get through it and you look the best you've ever looked, it's like you think, wow, I can do anything. If I can do that and put myself
Yeah,
through that,
yeah,
I can do
yeah,
anything. And it
yeah.
gives you that confidence, really.
It
So
does.
I
It does.
probably didn't ever think, I don't know, I probably did. I probably didn't think that I'd be able to do some stuff, but like now it just gives you that confidence, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And especially, I'll tell you what was like really, for me, what really hit home, because when you're going through it and you stand on stage and you do it, and then it comes and it goes so quick when you're on stage,
Yeah.
it's gone like that. And then the photos come and you're
Yeah.
looking at them and you're thinking like, oh, I'm not sure that's even me. Like you look at yourself and you think, is
You
that
can't
actually
believe
me?
it.
Yeah. And that's such a massive confidence boost. And for somebody who's starting out, if there's one thing you need to look forward to is the photos, I'd say. The photos and the post-show burger or
Yeah.
donut or
Food,
sweet treat that you get after.
food will never taste as good again. Your food will
Yeah.
just taste amazing.
Yeah.
After you've done that, food will taste even better. I promise you.
Absolutely. And you get to appreciate food after,
Yeah.
don't you? Because you've been so structured for so long, when you actually get to a place where you can actually pick and mix what you want to eat. In your case, obviously, you do macros, so you're not limited to like just one set. For me, it's like strictly the same thing, like what your first coach, my plan,
Yeah.
that's like that. And I prefer that because it works better for me rather than thinking like, oh, shall I have this? Or I'm really bad at
Yeah.
like that.
Definitely. There's one that works better for different type of people. Definitely. I've spoke to a few people that are like, oh, it would stress me out having to
Yeah.
pick what I was going to eat.
Yeah, yeah. I like knowing what I'm eating, and I know that that's what is there, that's what I'm gonna eat, and I don't have to think about, because then I feel like if I start picking and choosing, I'll be like, well, I want to have something else other than that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah,
opens my brain up so that it's less focused, if you will. But
yeah,
for
definitely
you,
know
the
what you
macro
mean.
side
Still,
works better.
yeah, I still eat basically meat, veg, carbohydrates. Still eat very healthy on a
Yeah.
prep. I don't start tracking in chocolate, not on a prep.
So you
I'm
start
not gonna
tracking
not,
donuts and stuff like this,
not
like
prep.
no.
I don't start tracking in random stuff on a prep, no, because at the end of the day, you're competing and you want to
Yeah,
win, you're training
yeah.
to win. So you've got to think you
Got to
can't
be
just start
focused. Yeah,
tracking stuff in. But some people prefer a meal plan like yourself because they
yeah,
just think, oh, my
yeah,
mind will start to go wild about
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
actually going to fit
Yeah,
in there.
because my mind will start wandering and thinking like, oh, I can just track that and I'll get away with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can't be risking that.
I
But if
still
you,
think when you get really, really lean towards the end, I think it the food choice does matter anyway. You've
yes,
got to, and it's when you're putting yourself through that stress, you've got to think about the nutrients that you're getting. There's not
absolutely,
really nutrients in Kit Kats and
it's
stuff
not
like
gonna
that.
work.
But
Yeah, it's
the
not gonna
Kit
work if you
Kats,
start doing that. No
a
chance.
scoop of Kit Kat's 100 calories, and so
Yeah,
it's quite low calorie. You probably could fit that in, but at the end of the day,
it's
it's
the
what's
quality
more
of what you're
nutrient.
putting
When
in.
you're absolutely shredded and you're drained and you're tired from doing all your training,
Mm.
you're going to be much better eating something healthy and you're fueling your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fueling your body.
Yeah,
So,
it's more to do with the nutrients that are going into your body, not just putting things in your mouth because you want to.
yeah.
It's really about feeding and nourishing your body because it's absolutely on its knees at that point.
Mm,
And every little nutrient that goes in helps towards trying to help you
yeah.
survive, basically. You know what I mean? It's like you literally, yeah, you're putting your body through really, really extreme circumstances. So every
Yeah.
nutrient that goes in has to be one that the body will actually grab and make use of properly to nourish you
Yeah.
because you're not in a really great place at the back end of prep. So yeah, that's amazing. It's been really amazing having you on, Sheryl. Thank you so
Oh,
much
thank
for coming on.
you.
But just one last thing before you go. I usually finish with asking my guests one thing before they go, just
Hmm?
to finish off on a lighter note, because it's been quite heavy. Talking about bodybuilding and prep is quite heavy on the head, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. So I ask usually the guests to tell us or share with us something, one thing about themselves that people may or may not know. It can be a quirky fact, something about you that's interesting or not interesting. It's up to you. But something that people may or may not know. And if you're struggling with it and you can't think, you're sat
Oh,
there thinking,
yeah.
what is it?
My usual thing at work, if I get this at work, my usual thing is I'm a bodybuilder, really. That's
Yeah,
so
well,
now
that here because this is a bodybuilding podcast. So yeah, you're gonna have to think. Well, I'll help you out. Maybe think of the most embarrassing moment you've ever had, so we can laugh at your expense or empathize. Just think of something, something weird that you've done, maybe on a night out or something like that. Just so to
I don't know.
So go on.
I'm trying to think. Well, I've got a fact which is a bit funny. I won Bonnie Baby in 1993.
What's that? Body Baby?
So it's like
what is that?
It's like a competition at like a holiday park, and they used to bring the babies up and they win a competition. That was my first competition, so that's just a joke. That's obviously not serious.
Well, it must have been in your blood though.
Pardon?
It must have been in your blood though, competing, because if you want, clearly
competition. But I don't know.
Well, that is a fact that most people don't know. So there you go. That will do just fine, Sheryl. Not a problem. But yeah, it's been really, really nice having you on. I've enjoyed having our chat and we've explored so much. And hopefully we've given the listeners a good idea of what the bodybuilding life is like and what they should expect if they're going to venture into it and get involved in it. You know, it's not just about getting shredded or, you know, building muscle and getting hench. There is so much more that goes into it, and a lot of it is also remembering that at the end of it all, you still need your sanity and you still need to be able to function after the lights have gone off. It's something that you need to really think long and hard about. It's not something that just because people tell you in the gym that you can go on stage and compete that you should do. It's something to do for you. It has to mean something to you. And you have to have, well, you don't have to have a reason to do it, really. You can just do it because it's you know, you want to take it off your bucket list. But really, it does help if you have something that's driving you to do it, because those who perform well in the sport are those who actually have a good why as to why they're doing it, and it's something that will really translate into their lives. It might be something for a lot of people, in fact for a lot of athletes who you speak to who have gone into bodybuilding, it's helped them through a lot of trauma and a lot of hard times or mental health, and it's helped them come out to the other side with having such resilience and strong minds to be able to actually carry through the rest of their lives, regardless of how hard things are and regardless of how what sort of horrible things they've gone through. And it really does help people be better in themselves, develop strong habits, strong mindset, good habits, and the resilience that it takes to go through so much that life throws at us on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, it's been really good. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. And thanks so much for sharing everything with us. If anybody wants to reach out to you for your services, just talk us through how they can reach you and what your social handles are.
So they can reach me on my coaching page on Instagram, which is at coach by _Sheryl, but Sheryl is spelled with an S, so it's SHERYL. And then my personal one is at Sheryl Harris _X. So they're both on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll put all that down on the notes as well, so that people can be able to reach you. And you're happy to take on new clients at the moment, aren't you? You're open.
A couple of spaces at the moment.
Yeah. So as you explained before, you don't take on a lot of clients because obviously you've got your day job as well, and you need to maintain that high quality of service because it's just you running the show, isn't it?
Yeah, just me. So I only take on maximum 5 at a time.
Yeah.
So once the door's closed, the door's closed.
Once the door's closed, the door's closed. There you go.
Carol and Lucy will have you instead.
Yeah, you can move them over to Elevate and we'll happily have them on. Again, obviously, yes, so you've got Sheryl there, and we at Elevate also are taking on new clients. So if you're looking to compete in 2024, please reach out now, because you need that time to have the off season and not just come to us and say like, I want to step on stage tomorrow, because it doesn't work like that, and we will not take you on if you're only looking to get into the prep side of things. We have to learn about you, how your body responds to things. We build you up, and then we go into prep when you've had like a reasonable amount of time for us to learn what your body is doing and to see how it's progressing. So reach out. It's Carol at Carol West Coaching. All the links are in my bio as well. If you click on those, you'll be able to message me and click onto the website as well. That will take you through exactly what we do at Elevate. You get to know about both me and Coach Lucy, because we both run the Elevate program together. So I'm more on the performance side, and she wears all the other hats. So yeah, if you want to reach out for competition prep, we're open taking bookings. And also we have photo shoot packages and lifestyle clients as well. We do have an intake going at the moment, but we don't take everyone. It has to be right for both me and you. So when we decide that you're a good fit, then we will welcome you into the team, and we'll be more than happy to help you achieve your body transformation goals and hopefully get you on stage as well. So guys, it's been a pleasure to have Sheryl on board today with us, and I hope she's enjoyed our time as well.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good, brilliant, nice. That's good to hear. So take care for now, my lovely, and I will speak to you soon.